set them down. This is supposed to go on YouTube. If your club members say what couldn't attend, we'll punch it up. I don't know how long it'll take, YouTube, but they can punch it up on the internet and watch it. You can play it for a club meeting, for entertainment. Hey, instead of fighting me, well, you don't want to listen to me anyway, watch it on TV. Oh, doesn't they look funny? And so play it for the club. But you gotta have to do something. And the other thing is these portfolios. For the life of me, I can't understand why when your club member does something that's not in a book for your club. Do you know what kind of tool this is? You drop this in front of a judge that will take the time to look through it, he ain't got a thing against you guys. You got it documented. This newspaper articles, magazine articles, letters from law enforcement thanking you, letters from individuals returning rings, trash piles that you took pictures of, you cleaned off the beach. My goodness, they would probably give you a bronze star. You just be able to take the time, point somebody in your club to gather this material from past and any future and start building it little at a time. They take you years to get it where you want it. Took years to get this where I want it, and it's a pretty thick deal. But to build something up just for one copy for your club to have where they can make and present it to somebody or at least let them look at it. I went to a judge here a while back with this, Texas. Had nothing to do with what was closed down. It was the county park. They wanted to stop metal detecting in the county park. I went to Judge Williams in equipment. I told him, I said, here's a portfolio of what we're doing here in the state of Texas. And I brought you this peanut butter jar full of fish hooks, scrap metal, junk glass, stuff I cleaned off that same beach that you're trying to close down up there. I want you to use it for a paperweight for your papers on your desk. I don't think he was too interested in it, but I gave it to him anyway. But after he read this, he said, Mr. Wills, you can come back up here. I got a letter for you. The secretary has it. You can get in any county park in this county you want anytime you want. And so can any other metal detectors unless he violates or leaves holes open or leaves trash. That was a tool. And we sure are short of tools. So forget it. You can't do it with a digging tool. You can do it with this tool. So take the time. Get somebody appointed in your club to build that portfolio and do it. In your newsletter, put it in your newsletter. Because other clubs across the United States read that why you're putting that portfolio together, and they say, hey, that's a good idea. Let's build us a portfolio, and it'll spread. It'll start spreading about it. And look, like I said, look for community service. Don't just sit there, well, I haven't heard anything we can do around here yet. Go ask. Offer your services to law enforcement. We had a school, I put the school on for this Garrett deal where a bunch of us got certified for crime scene search. And that certificate, you make copies of that thing, take it to the law enforcement, say, I'm certified, and we got a lot in our club that's certified. We're more than happy to go out and help. Yes, it will take away from some of your hunt time in the field. It sure will. It's going to take away some of your time sitting back in the refining chair and watching your favorite program too. But if we don't get up, we might as well turn in our detectors for long and our mining equipment, because there's not going to be a place to go that unless private property. Me, I like private property. Not everybody's got permission to be in there. You know, public lands, people can get in that thing, 120 years, they close the door on it. I don't know that there's anything particularly I want to go in there for. And you take the chance like Bobby Unser did when he was taking a buddy snowmobiling up in Albuquerque and going down the snowmobile track, and a blizzard blew in and they got completely snow blind, and they ended off in the Forest Service off the snowmobile track into a historical area, and they come up and arrested Bobby Unser, a race car driver, for being caught out there for 3 days with no food, no water, stuck in a snowbound deal, and they were off the snowmobile track into a historical area. He violated the historical area. Down to his house after he got out of the hospital. It didn't take long for the governor of New Mexico to stop that one. But they wanted to make him an example because he was Bobby Unser. See, this is really getting wild. This is getting out of hand to no end. But as far as our problem, Our problem's sitting right here. We can do something about it, we're not. So advertising is everything. Also, the most of these people will talk to you if you go try to talk to them. If you got something in hand, like even the Texas portfolio, you sit down with your representative, you sit down with your parks people. Your parks, hey, I'm living somewhere that our parks let us hunt all we want. You want to assure that? Take an afternoon off, go up and see the director of parks, sit down with them, show them a portfolio. I want to bring this by, show you what we're doing. You allowed us the courtesy under permit or not, and we got to use this park. I felt like it's the least I could do to show you what we're doing with that use. We're cleaning that park. We're helping return items in that park. Yeah, I haven't got a problem with y'all. You know, y'all are doing great. Well, you're just making, it's a little life insurance policy. Go up there and see them anyway. Are you going to wait until they pass a law and then we go see them? That's what's happened to it. Somebody's raised the stink. Somebody said, well, I don't like them next to a historical marker or something like that. And let's not dig up historical markers, please. Now, most of them says it's right behind the historical marker. The place isn't behind the historical marker. You know, that's the old ones. The new ones now say, well, it's 4 miles this way and 3 miles north, stuff like that. You know what the likelihood of that highway being built right through that spot was? That's just a good place to put the historical marker for you to come by and visit the historical marker than out in somebody's field where the site actually is. So don't hunt up or dig up a historical marker. We have Port Sullivan down there that a lot of us enjoyed years ago. And every time we put the bronze star on the headstone there that the historical marker is, somebody comes along and chisels it out. Takes the bronze star off of it. It's my contingency to bring it to the Texas Council someday and say, hey, let's pay for a new marker out there. A metal one that people won't try to chisel up. Leave the one that's there, but right beside it. Let's put up a new one. It gives us good PR. Texas Council of Treasure Club supplied this marker. They put that at the bottom of the marker. You know? So let's use it. Use the places that we can get good PR. The Forest Service, in 2003, I was asked to go to the Forest Service because they were making a new metal detecting policy. Like I said, Ms. Bush kind of took care of that. But when I sit down with that Forest Service agent, I had a line of questions for him. Now, yes, there is a few intelligent people in Washington, D.C. They're hard to find, but there is some intelligent people, and this guy happened to be intelligent. He was a younger guy. I was much preferring to find somebody with a little bit more time in the Forest Service than he had, but that's who I ended up with. I didn't bring his card to name his name again since 2003. I can't remember where I lived. But he sat down with me and he did tell me, he said, you know, what you need to do, what all your treasure hunters need to do is build a history with us. Start out small. Help us out in surveys or a ghost town that we want to look at, and we'll assign a ranger with you out there, and you bring your entire club, not one or two. Bring your club out there, and we survey this property, and the ranger will look at anything that you dig up and tell you whether he cares about it or not, and you built a history with us. Okay? And then when you come up and say, I want to search this or search that, again as a group, and not individuals, then we're most likely to say, sure, go hunt that ski slope, or go hunt that cabin or camping area and stuff like that. You've built a history with us. And he happened to be a graduate from University of Arkansas, and believe it or not, most of his archaeology was done by electronics. Ground penetrating radar, metal detection, magnetometers, and he was a firm believer. This is the future for archaeology. Well, we're experienced. They're not. Who better to call than the people that's already been doing it and teach us how to do it? See, they're actually getting themselves into the point where they're going to need us someday. They don't want to admit it, but yeah, they're going to need us. So we can teach them, so we can get along. Coexistence is the whole thing. If you go into their face and tell them, I want this done and stuff, you're not going to get